the whole Pato incident, I actually got up to Pato at one point rotating through strategy, and I was right behind him. We towed up to him. I tried to pass him into one. He threw a block really late, and my spotter was like so mad. Like my spotter, Packy Wheeler, in turn one is probably my most encouraging person on the team. Like he's very, very on my side, and I love working with him. But he was like, that guy is an idiot. Talking about Pato. And you know what? I respect the guy's aggression, but the whole Pato incident, my view on that is he was either going to go in there and hope that he hit Marcus the right way to where Marcus would crash, or that was it. And because like that was such a late move, and at Indy, I mean, that doesn't really ever work. Very, very low. But sometimes, like you do see on ovals, like if the inside guy hits the outside guy in the right angle, you can get rid of him. And so, like I've seen Pato wreck a couple different people now. Like he wrecked himself this time, and he's like, "Oh, I should have brought Ericsson with him." It's like that wasn't Marcus's fault. Like Marcus was just holding his line. Like he tried to give you a little bit of room, but you threw it in there so late. Like Pato's mindset, I think, is really gonna. Like I like Pato. I think he's very talented, and obviously the Mexican fan base very supportive. Pato's literally probably the most famous person in our series right now. But I'm kind of starting to look at the mindset that he's got. Like, oh, don't apologize for wrecking Scott Dixon. It's like these are like really good and well established people here. That like, if you're gonna keep doing that, like that's not actually racing anymore. That's just like trying to be really threatening, and now you're crashing yourself. Like that's just not, it doesn't look great. So I think multiple people will have multiple different views on that incident. I think it was very late, and knowing how difficult it is for these cars, having literally just done a 500-mile race in one at the front, you got to be really alongside of someone to make that work, and you got to be going by them to make that pass work. And he just wasn't there. So I respect the aggression, but like, what did you think of it?
It did feel like Pato puffing his chest out and saying, "I'm going to make up for last year." And I'm gonna
like
make
right
it
out the
happen right
gate
now.
too.
I'm gonna make it happen right now, and like you said, just kind of I'm Pato MF Ward, you know, and I think that is one of his best qualities. But I think that also, like you said, is shown to hurt Pato and other people in ways. Now the race fan, the IndyCar fan, the drama fan in me is like, let's do it. Let's do Pato Marcus the rest of the year. Let's get it fired up. Let's have them going at each other. Let's have Scott Dixon and Ganassi with Marcus going after Pato, and Pato going after them with two big double birds. Let's do it, man. Let's get all those quotes going.
Exactly.
But I did have quite a hefty wager on Pato, and for a while there with, what was it? I'd say probably from 150 to 140 to 165, 170. I was like, I think Pato's gonna I think Pato's he's got this. Like if he just doesn't do something like that, you know. And then he did something like that.
Yeah. It was interesting because I coming out behind him at one point, like racing with him, I was like, all right, I think we've now rotated to the right part of the field. You know what I mean? Like coming out with Pato, like I knew he was at the front and running with him there, but then he was kind of on a separate strategy. Like there was a big split in strategies there towards the end on who pitted at like that lap 60 or whatever caution, and then who stayed out. And we were one of the ones that stayed out. But still kind of, you know, the guys at the front still rotated to the front. We still ended up being at the front. But yeah, it just became aggressive. You know, I raced a lot with Alex Palou. You know, he made a mistake. I passed him. We came out of the pits the next stint, and like literally we got the same understeer, the same push out of two, and then he got me the next time. And so, you know, racing with guys like Dixon and Palou felt really good for me because I enjoy racing with those guys. But it felt like, again, we had a fast car. We were a little bit short in sixth gear as well. So it was tough to make some passes sometimes because you really need all that momentum to get by someone. But we could run really close, and our tires lasted really long. So I got to give credit to the team for giving us a great car, handling-wise, because I thought we did have a very good race car. But it was one of those situations that we needed a bit of a lucky, not a lucky yellow, but either a really fast pit stop or a bit of an aggressive strategy call on the undercut or overcut to like rotate to second. Because if we rotated up to second, like I think we were good enough to really, do that exchange of position from first to second. So it was kind of a shame it didn't play out that way. And then the restarts were complete disasters. But one funny thing about the red flags, right? I hated all those red flags. I've now done so many Indy 500s now with red flags at the end. I think they're ridiculous. I don't like them. But we had big conspiracy today I went to the race shop yesterday to see the car because I got hit a lot. Like when Pato's crash, Renus ran directly into the back of me, and I thought the rear was destroyed on the car. I could see his nose was broken. Yeah, and I was told also that maybe Colton hit him into me. I haven't really talked to him yet much about it. I mean, he didn't do it on purpose. We were all trying to. I mean, I almost hit Scott Dixon because he was like directly in front of me, and we were all trying to slow down.
Yeah.
But we also rolled in one red flag. And Scott Dixon was behind me, and he actually hit me when we came to a stop on the red flag. And some of my team members, we were like, because at the back of the car, kind of where the nose could potentially get under the car and do some damage. This happened to me at Nashville last year. We lost our gear position sensor. Our gear position sensor is like in the back of the car near the attenuator. And like people were saying, Scott Dixon might have been trying to break my gear position sensor. I don't know, but it was just a light little rub as we come to a stop there in the red flag. And I don't know why that happened. Again, I don't think Scott Dixon's a deep conspiracy guy where he's like, I'm going to break this guy's gear position sensor. But people were saying. So I like Scott Dixon. I don't think he would ever do that. But it was weird to get hit under a red flag in the pit lane. Just a little nudge.